What's up, friends? My name is Jeff. I'm here with Astro and Lep. Talk about the North America Overwatch scene. We're going to talk about some teams to keep an eye on, players that impressed them throughout this year, and will Freja have an impact on the meta coming up in Season 16? Let's start with some brief introductions. I appreciate you gentlemen taking the time to come do this. Lep, why don't we start with you? Kick us off with some intros.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Lep. I play main support for Rad Esports, and I've been playing competitively since late 2019. Yeah.
Astro, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my name is Astro, formerly Astronex, and I'm the tank player for Supernova. And I was also on Team Canada in 2023, and mostly started competing in Overwatch 2, so I'm a little bit of a newer player, but still competing nonetheless.
Let's go. We'll kick off with a little, just kind of get to know you. Do you have any unique game day routines, either past or even present, superstitions or anything kind of fun that y'all do before a match to kind of get you in the mood or to fit that superstition? Astro, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay, that's a good question. I think for me, I don't know if it's a superstition, but I just feel like I always like having my soda, you know? I'm a big soda guy. I have it right now. So it always just helps me get in the mood, get pumped up, and the caffeine helps. Um, but for me, yeah, match day, I just want my soda and my caffeine.
Hey, it's simple but effective. I like it. Leb, how about yourself? Any unique game day routines for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of different things, and it kind of depends on who I'm playing against, if I'm being completely honest. Like, if I'm booting up against some, like, ex-teammates and I, like, really want to beat them, I'm getting all dolled up. Like, I want to look nice, I want to look good, feel good. Sometimes I'll, like, wear all black, because, like, I gotta, like, even today, right? Like, we've got this interview, I've got all black on, full skincare, full hair care.
Please.
Just trying to get myself in the right mind space before I actually go into, the match.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, confidence from head to toe, and that's going to show in the game.
Yes, sir.
Makes a lot of sense. Oh, let's talk about the scene a little bit. Let's talk about some players. If there's a hot next up player that you think everybody should be keeping an eye on, what's the first person that comes to mind? Who's the first name that comes to mind? We'll start with you and start with you on this one.
Yeah, I've got a kind of two different definitions of next up. Because like next up could mean like with a couple of months, or next up could mean a couple of years.
Sure.
I'd start off with like somebody that's got a lot of potential that a lot of people got their eyes on is kind of PDK. This guy's he's packing a punch, he's getting the kills, and he's kind of scary to play against whenever you're playing. I mean, as Lucio versus his hit scan, it can be a little scary sometimes, especially if I'm doing like beautiful rainbows in the sky. It could be easy to hit. PDK's got my number. But as far as like next up, I gotta glaze my own teammates here. Chronic. That guy's starting to get a lot better as a player. He's expanding his hero pool, and he is very scary to play against. And PK, my tank, painkiller. That guy's again wide hero pool. He's grinding ranked, and I mean he's able to adapt, and he's like a sponge with new characters. So probably those three for me.
I think those are awesome shouts. I mean, PK's been on my radar for a bit, but Chronic is actually a really cool shout. That's somebody that's kind of personally flew under my radar a little bit, and you're not the first person I've heard that from. That he's kind of what I've heard you refers to as a player's player, and is really somebody we should definitely be keeping some eyes on. Asher, what are your thoughts on it? Anybody come to mind when we were talking about next ups?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, kind of on the same page with Lep about how there's two different ideas of next up.
Sure.
So one player that I think not a lot of people even know about is from Rad Academy, which is Lich.
Yes.
I think Lich is pretty good, especially when we play versus him. I think he was a big reason on why we lost one of our matches against Rad Academy. I think he's a pretty good hero pool, and he kind of reminds me of Chime actually. He has that Mei on him, he has that Pharah on him, and that impressed me a lot. And does have his weaknesses, but he's really mechanically confident, and I think that can take you a long way. So if he keeps up his mechanics, I think and like he works on his macro, I think he's gonna be a good player in no time. And for players that are kind of already more established, I have to go with my own teammates. I think my own DPS players on Supernova our next up, I think Ryan, he's only been competing like seriously for like about a year. Like that's like pretty incredible to be a
Yeah.
top 8 if you've only been playing for a year, you know, where the rest of us have already been playing for like 2 or 3 or 4 years. And then as well as Jutsu, he's only been competing for a year as well. Like I have some rookie DPS, and honestly, like they're ready to show that they're here like to play, you know, and they're not messing around. So I think those two are next up for sure.
I mean, it was a huge part of y'all's success over this past stage and moving
Hmm.
into OWCS for stage 2.
Yeah.
And also, what big shoes to fill. I thought was a really cool story about that is they're filling such massive shoes with Chime and Haven, and these, I mean, have been around the scene for a long time. Has been around as long as the three of us have been around, and I mean, pretty legendary names in the Path to Pro scene. So big shoes to fill, and Jutsu and Ryan definitely filled them. I mean, splendidly. So yeah, mad props,
for sure.
mad props, my friend. Oh, wonderful answers. Awesome. Awesome. All right, let's keep moving forward. Let's keep moving forward. The power of editing. They can cut off all this middle stuff. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? They'll probably be editing out more of me than y'all. I'm telling you, y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing. Okay, moving forward. Moving forward. This is interesting. Who do you think is the most gifted player in Overwatch right now that no one is talking about? Asher, we'll start with you this time.
Ooh, that's a hard question.
Sure.
But I think he got a little bit of glaze at in China, which was like I think they played not last night or the last day of the tournament, but the second last day. I think CJ played really really well, and I think people internationally are starting to realize that that guy's like really good.
Yeah.
Which makes me happy. He's a good friend of mine, and I know a good friend of Lep too. Um, but yeah, he has insane mechanics. Like, if anything, like he might be one of the most mechanically gifted players on the planet. So I'm glad that people, when I was watching the stream, people in chat were saying, "Oh my God, CJ's insane." I was like, guys, I've been telling you this, but finally they're starting to realize, which made me really happy. So I'd say CJ for sure.
That's really cool. Yeah, going from
Yeah.
recognition in T2 and Path to Pro to recognition as a world-class player, straight up.
Yeah.
Lep, what are your thoughts on it? Who do you think has the an imbalance of talent to attention here in the Overwatch scene?
Oh man, I know you asked for player, but I'd probably have to go with coach.
No, it's fantastic. Ooh, I love the curveball in this. All right, what you got?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Goltek, he's currently coaching Nightmare, and he was coaching Wei to their 4th place finish in Korea. I mean, if you look at the guy's track record, previously in Overwatch 1, he was coaching Runaway, and now whenever it comes to Overwatch 2, I think the first real shots that he got, he led a team of, I mean, I don't want to use the word no names here, but he led a team of like friends essentially to a 4th place finish, playing their own style in Korea, and then pretty much did the same thing in NA. I mean, Nightmare, they have all the players, they have all the talent as we've seen on stage, and I mean, he managed to get them all on the same page from a coaching staff point of view, and like get them all to have the same ideas. I think that's really beautiful to see as a player, to be able to have a coach like that, be able to interact with these players, and then continue to be able to do something like beat Crazy Raccoons as a Western team. I mean, everybody in the West was shocked. Like, my jaw was literally on the floor in disbelief to be able to see a team of Westerners be able to do that. I think very, very, very lot of vouch to Goltek as a coach, especially after doing that. And I do think he gets recognition from his teammates, but I mean, more people need to be able to see that, the power of coaching.
Wow, what a great answer. Yeah, I mean, my jaw was on the floor every map. Like, literally every map, Nightmare 1. I was like, what is happening? What is this?
Yeah, I was right there with you.
Oh, what a cool shot. Amazing answer. Amazing answer. All right, let's keep moving forward. We'll keep moving forward. You have to pick a master team from FACEIT League Season 5 that you think will end up in OWCS down the road here in 2025. Who is a team that might come to mind? I don't know if it's somebody that maybe you've heard about or maybe scrimmed against, but is there a team that you think that we should really be keeping an eye on that, could be a big name here later in the year? Lep, let's start with you on this one.
I'd have to start with my own academy team, Radicad.
Yeah.
I know they have Ivory, they have Lich the Glitch. I mean, they've got some pretty nice DPS on them, as well as Valerie. Valerie, I've had the chance to work personally with, going into the latter half of their season. Got a lot of confidence in them, not only because they're my academy team, but I think with some upgrades, or even if they decide to stay the same, I think that they'll be in a much better position, if not the same position, going into the next season to face it.
What I've heard about is Hutch. I've heard Hutch is actually low-key really, really good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's somebody that I hadn't really taken note of before, but it's like, that team, yeah, definitely. That was kind of my personal choice. Would have been Radicad. Astro, what do you think? What do you think is one of those next up teams that we should be looking out for?
I partially agree with Lep for sure. I think Rat Academy, they're a great team. And I've also heard that they're making upgrades, so I'm really excited to see them level up through the next master semester. No leaks though.
No leaks, no leaks.
No leaks. But besides them, I have to say Shikigami. Now they're also making roster changes. Like I don't think this is super surprising, but I think some of their players are going to Marvel Rivals.
Right.
I think Arise is going to go play in Korea. So I think it's mostly the backline, but I think I have a lot of confidence in Regime and Graveyard through Masters. I think they're a really, really strong backline. Like even at some moments for Supernova, like we've struggled against them. So I think that they should have a really firm grasp over Masters League or Masters Division this next season, to be honest.
I think that's a team that shaking it up is actually going to be good for them. They've been playing together for so long, and I think shaking that team up and I think it'll be good. I mean, Regime and Graveyard are super strong. What an awesome shout! I was excited to see them in OWCS. I'm excited to see how they change and grow from that. And yeah, I think like Solo is also going to Rivals, so they're have to find a new tank line there.
Yeah.
But I think it could be really good for him, and I think it could offer some real growth for him. So anyway, excited to see the future of Shikigami for sure. All right, pull my questions back up here. Let's talk about the promotion relegation matches. Now that we've actually had our first PNR matches in OWCS, those took place last weekend for the first time in the history of Overwatch esports. What kind of change does this have on y'all as players and as teams with this ecosystem changing so drastically as it has here going into 2025? Asher, we'll go back to you to kick this one off.
I mean, for me, it was really important. Like, it's the only reason why I'm going to be able to be competing in Stage 2. Missed out on Stage 1, which is, like, truly heartbreaking. I was out for, like, 2 months, kind of just... I don't know. But just being able to have a chance to claw my back through Masters and then finally be able to make it to the promotion relegation matches, like, really helped me. Like, that was, like, the light at the end of the tunnel for me. So... really helping me just power through, and luckily I got it done, and it just shows that hard work does pay off. So any team that does want to try and make it to the top, like they can make it, because they have that system that if you just keep working hard, you're going to keep climbing and you'll make it eventually, right?
Yeah, Lep, follow up on that. Thoughts on the system?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the fact that we've got promotion and relegation. I think it really makes sure that you can't just bomb out for a season or just play for money, because you as a player and like even your spot will just get straight into relegation. Like it really makes you like think about, okay, I want to play with these guys and I'm confident that we're going to get better than 7th, 8th, and we're not going to get relegated, so we can actually continue to grind and continue to compete. And likewise, on the other end of the spectrum, like if you just have a bunch of friends, maybe you all go to the same university, like at Dildux, for example, you're able to bring players together and come together with your friends, and even without scrimming. I mean, I know that they were publicly about the fact that they weren't really scrimming a whole lot. It's like,
right.
But they still did it. They made it, and now they have a shot of playing against players like Vega and RuPaul, like these tenured pros, or even like, well, I mean, Nightmare's coming back and they just beat the best players in the world, right? And now you're gonna get to play against Dildux. It's like the guys that are just friends. It is going to be quite the experience, and it always is quite the experience. So, really agree with it and really like it.
Just general to both of y'all, it sounds like motivation. Like it's much more of a motivator than hoping you get picked up by a T1 org like it used to be back in the day. Is that pretty much the gist of it?
I mean, yeah, before it was like, you got to make Overwatch League or not, right? Like before, it was, you have to be 18 years old. You have to, be able to be signed to a team, which essentially is so much harder. But now it's, I mean, you can get signed to a team, which is great. A lot of players do have that opportunity, but you don't need to anymore. You can do it yourself. It's you and you yourself and your teammates, right? So that's all you got, and
yeah.
That's all you need now.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
all you need.
That's all you need. It's great. It's super motivating for me, like.
Let's go.
Yep.
I think it's so cool. I mean, that's the best change I think we've ever had. Personally, best change we've ever had. What's your general opinion on the meta? Let's shift gears a little bit. What are we thinking? How do we feel about the meta right now? Do you enjoy it just generally? I mean, are y'all have fun with it versus more of a stagnant meta? Do you prefer something that shifts more often like it is now, or do you prefer something that's more predictable? Astro, let's go back to you for the kick this one off.
I was a big fan of before hero bans. I was a big fan of that because I noticed that the longer that a meta would play through, I would get better at it and I would really learn the ins and outs.
Right.
For example, like that Orisa meta that we had. I think I got really good at it because I put so many hours into VOD reviewing, and it kind of made it really hard for me to keep that same understanding of the game when hero bans came through. And I think that's a big reason why we lost at the beginning to Amplify, and we didn't qualify for stage 1. So it made it really tricky for me, even though I thought I'd be a one of the better players for hero bans because I am really confident in my hero pool. But now that I've kind of gotten over that hurdle, I'm really enjoying it. And I think like watching China, like I've been watching with friends, and like a lot of the time, like I just don't understand the comps that are being played. But so I wouldn't really say that there's a meta perhaps, but I really think it's important on how you're playing instead of what you're playing.
Ooh.
Right? Like how you're playing the comp, and making sure you're working as a team together. And I think the hero picks aren't necessarily nearly as important compared to just how you're playing as a team.
Maybe.
So I think that's really fun. That makes me enjoy the game a lot, I think. Yeah.
That's a really cool take. I hadn't heard that, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially with you know, back in the day, you know, if you think old school Overwatch, like the pick was everything, to where it's more stylistic. I love that perception. I love that perspective. That's really cool. Well, Lep, what do you think? What do you think of the meta? Are you enjoying it, or do you prefer a more stagnant, more predictable type of playing field?
Personally, I'm just a big Overwatch fan. Like, I don't really care. I don't really care what they come out with or if it's game breaking. I mean, I can imagine that players want more flexibility and to be able to swap and do whatever they want.
What do you want?
That way. I mean, I'm fine with whatever. I think the idea and the mindset that we've kind of got right now is kind of nice because it's like, okay, just pick what your team is best at instead of like trying to conform to some sort of like box of ideas. I mean, people are always going to try to copy what the higher level teams are doing. And like, yeah, there is some validity in that, but at the end of the day, it's like you're booting up with your friends, you're booting up with the people that you trust. So let them trust you as well and then pick around that. And I mean, that kind of aligns with what Astro is saying about like how you play instead of what you play.
Yeah.
And I think that is the really nice part about it. And if I were to compare it to like, okay, that with goats, I mean, even with goats, if you're playing goats, there's so many styles of goats and there's so many styles of the way that you play it, right? Like whenever I was playing like pro and like playing contenders during goats, it's like you've got different kinds of teams where you got teams where they play more for their Zarya, you've got teams where they play for Lucio and Diva to run at Zen. You have teams where they play to just do nothing and hard run it down around corners. Like really taking that kind of concept and applying it to what we've got with Overwatch 2 with perks and abilities and all of this mumbo jumbo that's going on, like that's why I'm just an Overwatch fan. Like I'll find my niche and then we'll go from there. That's why I'm always fine.
Just walk your own path. I love it. Walk
Yep.
your own path as a player, as a person. Man, I feel the same thing. Like I struggle so much to try to tell that story, to try to recognize those differences from the outside perspective of being like, okay, how do I recognize the personality of a player and their style and all, and really trying to, and it's so hard. And I really, and I try. It's like, man, you just got to be you. Just enjoy what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of what that reminds me of. Amazing. All right, we'll keep moving forward. Where are we at? Oh, yeah, of course. Freja getting released here in a couple of days. What are your thoughts on the hero? Did y'all get to play her very much during the preview? Do you think she's going to make waves in the meta like Hazard did? Let's go back to you. What do you think?
I I'm kind of iffy on Freya as a character. I think she's what our game needed right now with mobility and like skill shots, and I think adding more skill shots to Overwatch is always going to be a net positive.
Sure.
I mean, whenever people, I imagine myself, like younger version of myself, I boot up the game and the first thing that I want to do is play Hanzo and Genji, like two like heavy skill, high skill. All right, I got to learn how to do this, and there's so much like room for mistakes. I think Freya can really add that. I think base level, like thinking about it, whenever she was completely like whenever she got added to the game and people are trialing her, I'm like asking my hit scan, yo, what do you think? He's telling me same thing. It's like she can be really strong and she's a heck of a lot of fun to play, but maybe she needs a little bit more of a buff to be able to be absolutely broken in the meta. I don't think that she'll change much whenever she gets added, unless like they come and they change some of her numbers and they buff some of her numbers. But if they do that, I feel like you'd be seeing her everywhere. I mean, just like you see every new character, Hazard release, he's absolutely turbo busted.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh wow, we get to see Hazard gameplay, and then the guy just has one shots. I think it'll probably be same with Freya.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're both fun to watch. I'll give you that. They're both fun.
Yeah.
They're very fun to watch, very fun to play. Astro, what do you think? You think we'll see a lot of Freya coming up here after season 16 launches?
I think we will for sure. I think people just want the hero to be good, and I think that's the case with a lot of new heroes. Just every hero in general. People want it to be good, and they're gonna try it, and they're gonna try it and do everything they can to make it work. Especially if the hero is fun, like a hero like Freya. And I've also heard a lot of people say like what Lep has said about I think they need to buff the numbers, but I feel like that's always said about every new release hero. Oh, she needs better X, she needs more of this, but at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to just figuring out how to play the hero. For example, at the beginning, when Kiriko was released, everyone said, oh, she doesn't have enough healing.
Yep.
But then everyone realized, oh my goodness, her ult is broken. And
she's not about burst healing. That's not what she's
and
about.
she has a Suzu.
Yep.
And yeah, and she has a teleporter, right? Like that's incredible, right? So
they said the same thing about Juno. Like, remember Juno was hated? Like, this character's going to be useless. Why did they try to make this blend of a main support, flex support? She's not going to fit into any meta anywhere. Yeah.
And then she's yeah.
Then we figured out that Orbital is broken. And she puts out an enormous amount of healing and is very hard to lock down. And it's kind of the opposite of Curie. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But yes, there is precedent on this.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think she will be played for sure. But I think it will come in waves.
Okay.
I think people will try her, think she's not great, and then people will keep grinding on ranked, and they'll get really good, and then they'll see the merit to her. And I think, and then eventually, like, she's gonna get countered, right? Like, people also think she's really strong, but just because people haven't actually tried counter swapping yet, so it's like, oh, like, what are the counters? So same thing for Hazard, right? Everyone thought that Hazard was really strong, and he really was broken. Like, he was just taking over the lobby. But then people realized that Torb countered Hazard, and it was like a really good counter swap. And
what a week that was.
Yeah, no, and then all of a sudden people were playing Torb Symmetra, right? So it's like, oh, now we're playing Torb Symmetra Wrecking Ball. So like, I don't know, it's all over the place. I think there'll be strong points and weak points when people don't know what the counters are, and then when people figure out what the counters are, you know, it's gonna be all over the place. So I think we'll see. It'll be spotty, I think, but we'll see Freya for sure.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I always want the new hero to be good. I'm in that camp. I like seeing the new heroes. I enjoy it. I want them to be good. Don't want them to be overly broken. I think taking over a lobby, once you start using that kind of phrasing, you know, it's probably a bit much, but Freya's a lot of fun. What can I say? Any predictions coming up? Any predictions for stage 2? As far as who do you think is strong? Who do you think could be a dark horse? Is always an interesting question. Let's go with you on this one. Thoughts for stage 2?
Well, my initial thoughts are I'm really curious to see what the franchise teams in Nightmare are going to look like. We didn't get a chance to see Nightmare or not Nightmare. We didn't get a chance to see SSG and Nightmare play against any of the EU teams. And I think that's where maybe the skill might have been a lot closer. But yeah, really curious to see what they're going to look like. Curious to see if Liquid is going to be, a super team. They got a lot of expectations going into stage one, and they didn't make it to LAN, so now their expectations are to make it to the next LAN. So really, really curious to see if they're going to be able to step up and fill the shoes that they've made for themselves. As far as dark horse teams go, I think Astro's team, they're coming out of relegation and they've got a lot to prove. Um, they want it just like everybody else. So really, really curious. That's extra fire in their stomachs. That's extra fire behind them in order to actually have some good results. And then likewise with my team, we're one match away from relegation. Really curious to see if my team can actually pull it together, if we can make LAN, if what kind of placement we can get. It's going to be a really interesting stage too. I'll be making sure to watch and make sure I get my drops.
Astro, do you think it's going to be as wide open as Lep is saying here? It feels like it's kind of anybody's game. Is the anticipation? Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I know for sure. I think it's going to be even more interesting because for stage 2 in Saudi, it's actually going to be the top 3 teams in North America. I saw that on an Instagram post.
Yes.
I should be confirmed, I think.
No, that is accurate. That is 100% accurate.
That is confirmed? Okay,
yes.
Didn't want to jump the gun there, but I was fingers were crossed for that one. But yeah, no, I think Team Liquid are making changes, and from what I have inside sources from my friends, but they're working a lot better now. So as a team together, so I think they'll be able to compete with the SSG and Nightmare a lot more. And then also like the dark horses we were mentioning, I'm pretty scared of Rad for sure. I think they're really strong. Chronic, that guy is really, really good. And I don't ever want to play versus him on Widowmaker. And Painkiller has a really good hero pool. And they're also making roster adjustments, and it feels like honestly every team right now is just kind of leveling up. And they're all making their own roster changes, and it just feels like at this point, like, who can just really take it to the sky, who can really reach that next level. And I think every single team has that potential. And something that my team was talking about once Nightmare beat Crazy Raccoon, we were like, guys, like, if we work hard, like, we can do that type of stuff. Like, anything is possible. And I truly believe that that'll be what the stage 2 is like. Anything is possible. Any team can be any team. So
it's kind of Nightmare made the gods bleed, and everybody went, "Oh, wait a minute, we can do this," and kind of lit a fire under everyone. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
that's rad. Okay. Now y'all just got me super hyped for stage 2. This is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be amazing. Let's conclude it with just kind of a general question on change, and let's keep this positive. But what would you think would be one change that we could make? Something you'd like to see more of from the scene, or something that could be adjusted? And I left this really broad on purpose because, it could just be, from the developers, from your content creators, from tournament organizers, from fans, from each other as players and teams. What's something that comes to mind you think that we could just help make a positive scene, a positive impact, and help our competitive scene grow? Let's start with you here.
Well, I'd say there's probably two different things that I would want to see changed for NA, and these are very positive. I think the first one I can kind of talk about it is like the mindset, like NA mindset.
Oh.
We kind of got a taste of like, oh, we can like really do this if we grind and like put it together. But we've been very behind, like in collective history, compared to the other regions. I think like FPL and queuing FPL and grinding ranked and taking ranked serious. That kind of positive change, that kind of change in mindset where, okay, it's not always my teammate's fault. It's I can change for the better. I can play better. I can always get more kills or heal more or live more, and like that kind of shift in mindset where it is okay to be passionate about the games that we're playing. That kind of positive change within NA mindset, I think. If that kind of change happens, I'm super excited for the future of esports and NA and the West in general. As far as like something more palpable and more physical, we can see cosmetics in game, like the adding of cosmetics for OWCS teams. I mean, I think that really ups the level of like gameplay that we have. You know, I mean, just you making it out of relegation means that your team gets a skin and you get a spray in game that's like customized to like what you guys are doing. Like I want a Dilduck spray, you know, like I want to rep the PDK skin, or I want to rep the Chronic skin because that's my hit skin. You know, like I want that kind of buy-in. You know, I'm willing to spend that kind of money, and that would be such an amazing change. I mean, those two things.
That's awesome. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's an awesome answer. Holy cow! All right, Astro, what you got? What are your thoughts?
I think it's similar to what Lep was saying about the skins and the cosmetics. I think that would be really cool, but kind of something similar. Just thinking of older iterations of like Overwatch 1, I think they did this a lot. Was essentially when you loaded up the game and you were in the menu, you would see when matches were playing. You'd have this big red live button on your screen that would say Overwatch League Live, or even Overwatch World Cup, right? Overwatch World Cup Live. And I think they could do a better job advertising the game to the casual players that just don't even know there's a competitive scene.
Right.
So I think that would be really, really cool to see. And it would help support like the competitive like the whole competitive scene a lot.
Yeah.
I think it would bring in a whole new like type of viewer and viewership, and I think that would honestly, that's what I would love to see. I think that'd be great for the game.
I am blown away by these answers, y'all, and I love how like they all tie together so beautifully, right? Like let's do all of that, and NA would be unstoppable. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
That is all I've got for you. Y'all have been absolutely just a joy to talk with. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. Where can fans find you online? We'll just plug whatever you want here. Let's go. Fire away, my friend.
Yeah, my Twitch and my Twitter are Lep_W. I go live almost every day or every other day. Yeah, I mean, I stream, I compete. You come watch some pro main support gameplay.
Let's go. Astro?
My main platform is Twitter, so you can find me at Astronex, ASTRONEXZ. Just that, and same thing for Twitch if you want to come watch. I stream occasionally some FPL when NA decides that they actually want to get better at the game, and you know, it's the game is fun. So when that happens, I go live and play some Overwatch.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. It's all I got for you, friends. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.